Something went down recently that no son should ever have to face. A bogus HOA squad showed up trying to bully my 93-year-old mother. When I stepped in, they turned their sights on her ranch, all because I told them flat out they picked the wrong family to harass. But the only thing that got torn up that day was their little crew. Let me roll this story from the top. Before we dive deeper, drop a comment with the country you're tuning in from. I want to see just how far this story reaches. I've taken fire in 5 countries, but nothing spikes my pulse like someone messing with my family. My mom, Evelyn Hart, has lived on our Texas ranch for over 6 decades. The property's paid off, taxes squared away, and no valid HOA exists anywhere near us. Still, 3 guys in polos with HOA enforcement plastered on the back came strutting up the driveway with clipboards like they were in charge. Their complaint? Mom's flower beds violated neighborhood uniformity rules, and her barn blocked HOA view lines. Translation: total garbage. Texas property law is crystal clear. No HOA power without a signed contract. And setting foot on private land like that is trespassing, plain and simple. When I told them to clear out, one of them, a heavy-set guy in wraparound shades, smirked and said, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." That's when my switch flipped from courteous to protective. My years as a Navy SEAL taught me how to diffuse situations, but also how to finish one if it came to that. I stepped forward, calm but firm. "Hard way? You're standing in it." They made the mistake of stepping toward my mom, and that's when I stepped first. The first guy lunged like he meant to shove past me. Wrong move. I caught his wrist, twisted, and sent him face first into the gravel. The second one, lanky and quick, tried to grab me from behind. I pivoted, swept his legs, and dropped him flat. Clipboard flying. The third froze for a second, then reached under his polo like he had something hidden. I closed in, hooked his arm, and slammed him against the barn wall before he could draw the cheap folding knife he had stashed. "Let me guess," I said, holding him in place. "This isn't about flowers or barns, so what's the real game?" He sneered. "Your mom's land is prime for development. My boss wants it, and he doesn't take no." That told me everything. This wasn't random harassment. This was an orchestrated shakedown, posing as an HOA to strong-arm my mom into surrendering her property. That's extortion under Texas law. Add trespassing, and they're looking at real prison time. I zip-tied their wrists with the ties I keep in my truck, parked them in the barn's shade, and called the sheriff. Then I went inside to check on Mom. She was at the kitchen table, sipping her tea like nothing rattled her. "They picked the wrong ranch, didn't they?" she said with a grin. 15 minutes later, the sheriff pulled up, and once he watched my body cam footage, he didn't waste a second. These guys weren't listed with any HOA. They were muscle for hire, contracted by a developer. We'd been gathering proof for weeks. They left in the back of patrol cars, but I knew the fight wasn't finished. If their boss wanted my mom's land badly enough to send thugs once, he'd try again, and I was set for the next round. 2 days later, I caught sight of a shiny black Escalade creeping up our gravel drive. That kind of ride doesn't show up in ranch country unless it's carrying trouble. I stepped off the porch, boots crunching, planting myself between it and my mom's front door. The driver's door swung open, and out stepped a man in a tailored navy suit, gold cufflinks winking in the sun. 2 more men shadowed him, bigger than the last crew, with the stance of professionals. "Mr. Kane, the man said smoothly, "there's been some confusion. I can make it disappear if your mother cooperates." I kept my gaze steady, voice calm. "By cooperate, you mean handing over her deed for scraps?" His smile never touched his eyes. "This land is wasted on barns and cattle. My investors plan to build. You can accept my offer now or deal with my men." His mistake was assuming I'd fold. The first guard stepped up and I closed fast, open palm to the chest, slamming him into the Escalade so hard the frame shook. The second reached out, but I hooked his arm, spun him, and dropped him in the dirt. The boss staggered back a step, suddenly less confident. "You think you can stop progress?" he snapped. I pulled my phone and tapped the sheriff's number. "Already have. You sent men to threaten my mom. Every second's on camera. Add coercion, trespass, and conspiracy to the list. Oh, and I'm a Navy SEAL. You won't win this fight either way." Right then, the sheriff's cruiser rolled up as the boss reached for his car door. He didn't get far. Steel cuffs clicked, doors slammed, and the Escalade got hauled off our driveway. Mom stepped onto the porch, tea in hand, steam rising in the morning air. "Well," she said with a grin, "guess we're not selling." I smiled back. "No, Mom, we're not selling. We're making sure nobody ever tries this again, because if they do, I'll be ready." The end.